Thanks to @Oddmoose87 for my sub gift.
You know, aside from the fact that I started a little late, because my microphone decided it didn't want to work, I assume it's fine now, and I assume that the volume is okay. We're guessing. We're guessing real hard right now. But, I'm actually, like, ready to go. I am so annoyed. Because I started out being extremely ready to go. But then, like I said, my microphone decided it didn't want to work. It's fine, we figured it out. I just unplugged it and plugged it back in a bunch of times. Yeah, front-facing chickens should be in the content warnings. I think I have it... I still don't know. I've tried something different with the bot timer, so hopefully it'll pop up with the game link and the content warnings now in chat, but if not, I'll just need you to pull it up every once in a while. I'm still rearranging everything. I'm still putting the channel together a bit more. Still attempting to work myself up to moving my desk somewhere else. But we're making progress. I'm happy with how I've been managing everything. This last week really put me through the ringer. It's chicken time! Hi, Luna. Hi, Travis. Also, Luna, thank you for the contribution to the, There! The timer's there! Oh, good, it works. Oh, good, it works. I think, probably, unless it's now pulling up content warnings as well as the bed command when you do exclamation point. Shout out. We'll keep an eye on it, but it looks like it works. I have it set for every 15 minutes to go off, so I don't know why it's going off at the 7-minute mark. It's fine. Arcade. Hi, friend. How's it going? Yeah, it seems fine. Okay, cool. Whatever. I'll adjust the time as I need to. We're still, like I said, we're still kind of working with everything to get it to work properly. But I am happy with the progress that I've been making on it. Like I said, it's sort of been like a work on it a little bit here and there, get things done. I did get all but one of my scenes completely changed, which is exciting. I don't like Spotify being there. I don't know where to move it, though. Where would make sense? I guess there for now. I don't like it anywhere. Let's be real. I don't like Spotify being anywhere. I'll figure out another place for it at some point. It's fine. Why is heh not working? Heh. It should be working. I've got that. There it is. Wonder if it's because it was a reply. That was odd. Oh well, it's fine. That also just looked really loud. Kayshurrr is also extremely loud. And for that, I apologize. She looked really loud, at least to me. How did she sound? Travis, when you subscribed, which thank you for that. I appreciate it. It sounded alright? Okay, then she's just extremely screamy on my end. That's fine. I can deal with getting jump scared by my own bot, as long as it sounds good to you guys. Didn't help that, like I said, I was like in the other room doing something really quick, and all of a sudden I just hear like Kayshurrr just screaming into my head, directly into my brain. But it's fine. But hi! Welcome! I'm done rambling now. It's Chicken Police time! Last time Miss Ibanez was dead, and that was really sad. I now remember how to say Ibn, though. I have put it into my brain how to say Ibn. So that's really exciting. Super proud of myself for that. And what were we doing? Who knows? Who knows what we were doing? We were searching some stuff up. I'm gonna tell Spotify to get out of here, and we're gonna move on over here. Where I think... Yeah. Goose is gonna get cooked. It must be really hard-boiled cop. You don't even know the half of it. Chicken cops are going to be scrambled sunny side up. Ooh! Ooh! Getting Sunny's name in there too, y'all. I love this game. I do genuinely love this game. I have no idea who we're calling. What is happening? Lewis, what are we doing? Hold on a second. Serving McChickens today. Y'all, Y'all. Alright, what were we doing? Lewis showed up. Good! Good, I hope you do! These are good puns, and I'm here for them. That's one reason why I'm very excited about this game. Because, oh boy, the puns that y'all are coming up with are exquisite. Exquisite.
Thanks, Lewis. Again.
Hold on a second,
don't
you ready?
mention it. Besides, it was my big dream to help you with a serious case.
Well, let's hope you can help. What can you tell me about this list, old pal?
I was trying not to interrupt them, but they were just gonna keep going.
Well, these names.
Hi, Emmy.
I know.
How's it going,
half of them
friend?
personally, maybe even more.
Got it.
I knew it.
But I have no idea what kind of list this is.
That's not how you do it, Travis, and you
These are
know
all
it.
members of the upper class, politicians, business people. Oh my!
So we've
Even
updated the bot.
commander
It's
of
exclamation
the
point shout out
Royal
now.
Guard. Damn.
There you
But
go.
I
Thank
really
you.
don't know what it means.
So, is it a dead end?
I'm afraid so.
I am gonna have to figure out how to get rid of that because that's ridiculous. But hi friends, how's it going? How are we doing? How are things? How is everyone? I realize I just kind of jumped into the game without touching base with everyone, but you know what?
Oh no! Our table! It's broken!
I still haven't made all of the sounds loud enough, but I'm glad that that one is. I'm glad you like it. Okay, sorry, I'm still trying to figure out what we're doing. We know that the list is of a bunch of higher-ups that Lewis all knows. I am still extremely suspicious of Lewis. Aww, I hope you can get some good rest tonight, Emmy.
Look, I'm sorry I dragged you into this, Marty.
Don't be. I
I'm
would have
glad you
been
had a
bored
good
to
stream.
death. Still
It
be
seemed
on
like
that
you had a lot of
shooting
fun.
range.
And Laura, what about her? Don't
Oh.
say it.
A bloody New Year's. Yeah. So Laura's probably at home, waiting for me on the couch, staring into a candle and killing a bottle of wine. Or two.
You can get out of this any time. You know that, don't you?
If you start something, finish it, right? Let's just make it through alive, okay? Or Laura will bite off my head. Literally.
I'm on it, partner.
What is Laura? What kind of animal is Laura? Do we know? Don't think we do know. We don't know. Alright. I'm still not entirely sure where we're supposed to go. Or what we're supposed to do. Because our clues aren't particularly helpful. Owl. We haven't met him! We haven't met Dr. Reginald B. Bubo. But apparently he's a bit of a hack. It's fine. Game. Cheap whiskey?
Would you like a shot?
You know what? When we're done with the case, then we can celebrate.
Let's hope the case won't end us instead.
It's like they
Amen
knew.
to that, Brother Bird.
It's like they knew. Okay, Lewis, do you have anything else to say? I can ask you questions. I thought we asked you
Deborah,
these already.
The girl who came to me tonight.
Yes, she's a very lovely young lady.
Where did you take
was
her
a very
after
lovely
you two left?
young lady.
Where she asked me to Flowerville.
Flowerville. Rochester Street 37?
Yes, exactly. Why?
I'm 100% certain Lewis did it.
Did something happen?
Nothing good, Lewis. Nothing good.
Okay,
This-
strange card?
This?
Right, we have to go to the brothel.
Oh, my goodness.
This is why I got
I
confused,
think
is
we
because we
have
did
a
all of
bingo,
this,
gentlemen.
and then
You see,
now
I
the game's making us
also
go
have
through
one
it
of
again.
these.
A card?
It's fine.
Like this? Really?
It's fine. It's all
Yes.
fine.
It's a membership card to a very
I mean, I hope
exclusive
Flowerville's not
club.
next to your
How
town.
exclusive?
This place sucks.
Very.
That's what I'm talking about.
What does
Also, thank you, Emmy, for the
SN
contribution
mean,
to the
Lewis?
stream, the
It's the
long stream. We do have a community
sweltering
challenge
Nile.
up and running if
That's,
people want to
well, yes,
throw some
it's a
points to that
brothel,
for
but it's
a
not-
long
not like
stream of a
that.
modded
It's
version of
something
Alien
completely
Isolation.
different.
Calm down, Lewis. We're not going to tell
Be fun.
anybody.
Might be
Thank
cool.
you so much. It is rather embarrassing.
Listen, Lewis. How do we
We'll
get
do
in?
a
Shoo.
community vote
What
about
to
which
get in? Well, if
about
you
which mods we want.
show them this card, they'll surely let you in. But it will be obvious you're not regulars there.
This whole bit of
We're
town
used
is
to that.
bad, and it's all
So-
bad.
Are we going to a luxury brothel?
Correct, Marty. Thanks for the help,
mean,
Lewis. I owe you one.
There are mods
for
for
the
everything.
third time today, I think.
There's mods for everything. Okay, so we're gonna go to a fancy brothel. It's gonna be great.
I
We are
don't
gonna
know what you
finish asking all
said
these
to him,
questions
but
again.
after you finished, he almost immediately van disappeared.
Because I guess
Really?
getting
That's suspicious.
a
Or
recap
he
on
had
all of them would
business
be good.
elsewhere. It's New Year's Eve. Everybody's going somewhere.
What
I
about
didn't
Natasha?
I didn't see her after the show. If I'm not mistaken, she usually leaves when everyone else has already left.
What else do you know about her, Lewis?
Oh, not much. What everybody knows, she was a dancer, then a backing singer, then star, and then club owner.
We found out as much already. Do you think she'd fled the Stavonian massacre? That's why the
It
secrecy.
needs to be a
You
mod from the
mean the
alien kit.
massacre
Please
of the royal
say happy
family?
or happy
I'd say
birthday.
her accent is a dead giveaway, and her name too, though it's undoubtedly an alias.
So it's possible that she is a part of the royal family.
Might be able to set something up for
I
that.
don't
Might be able
think
to
so.
figure something out for that.
Nobody could have survived that awful night.
You're probably right. What should we know about
me
the
about the
place,
brothel.
Lewis? Besides what they're dealing
do
in
it.
there.
I'm gonna
No,
do
it's
it.
an elegant and exclusive
I'm
place.
gonna do
Not
it. Nope,
everybody
I'm gonna
visits
do
them
it.
for that, you know. Some animals just go for
Gonna do it.
company.
I see. I guess it's mostly visited by the upper class.
Mostly, yes. The wealthy who have a taste.
Yes,
A
of
taste
course.
for what?
Is it true what they say? That it's some kind of hidden stronghold of the royalists?
The
Right.
Nile
There was
is a
this whole thing
proud
going
herald of
on.
the coexistence of all the species. Yes, but stronghold? I don't think so.
But the place must be an eyesore for the separatists, right?
Oh, don't worry for the girls, Sonny. They can defend themselves quite well. The separatists wouldn't dare to go near the place.
Well, we'll see what they have to say about these two old cocks.
Please.
That,
Please. Alright, let's get out of here. Can I go? Can I go? I can. It's time to go to a brothel, y'all. You ready? Chapter 2!
To Marty's delight, we were heading toward the most exclusive brothel in Clawville.
It's gonna be
The
horrific.
separatists
to look
and
at all
those
these-
opposing the monarchy hated the
All
place.
of these animals.
Just like
It's
they
gonna be
hated
great.
everything that supported interracial relations and
I'm very
peaceful
excited.
coexistence of all species. So the place wasn't just a brothel, it was a symbol. But just like a brothel is not a worthy symbol, Clawville failed to turn out the way it was intended.
well, here we are. The kingdom of long legs, silky skin, and fluttering lashes. We've arrived.
Marty, I'm
Calm
gonna
down,
need you to
Marty.
chill,
Watch your blood
buddy.
pressure.
She's what I call an exotic beauty.
Marty,
Well,
come on.
that's one way to put it.
Hey, every animal's the most beautiful thing in the world to someone.
Yeah, you're right.
Oof, I don't know about you, but I go weak in the knees for stripes.
Knock this stuff over.
Please, Marty, I don't want to know. And I don't care. Keep it to yourself.
Don't
And
tell
let's
me
get out
about
of here
your
quickly.
about your
Can't I even talk
weird
to you anymore?
preferences.
You can. Ask about the weather or how's my lower back. Those two are even connected if you want to know.
Yeah, old fart.
Marty, I'm gonna need you to chill. Foxy lady.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Would you be so kind as to help me?
Ma'am.
With pleasure, ma'am. Can I, Sonny?
What I'm
Happy to help, ma'am.
Oh,
Oops.
what a
Skip a few
gallant
steps,
young
sorry.
man.
I need to remember to
plucking
not do that.
lords.
Excuse me? Did I fail? What was... What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I try again?
If you'd really like to, please be more careful this time.
It is so
I will be,
sensitive. Marty. Apparently I don't know how to dress a lady.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I try?
If you'd
I will be, ma'am.
Okay, let's... There we go.
Oh, thank
Helping
you.
a lady
honey.
zip up her dress.
Marty, ma'am. Marty McChicken.
Thank you, darling Marty. I'm much obliged.
Anytime, ma'am. Anytime.
Okay, but we failed that like 5 times. We're not...
Holy fur. You swallowed so hard, the whole place shook.
Are you kidding me? I've never seen anything
It's true,
like this
zippers
before.
are hard when you're covered in
Is this
hair.
even legal?
Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know. Vice?
You really must be joking. Vice in Clawville?
Okay.
It was Marty,
pulling
it
your
wasn't
leg,
Sunny.
But still,
It was
it's
Marty
a little
doing
hot
it.
in here.
Oh, cool down, Marty. Don't even look over there. Remember Laura, your wonderful girlfriend, whom you love more than anything.
You don't need to tell me. All I'm thinking about is her.
With
go
a
home,
hatchet
Marty.
in her hand.
More like my nuggets.
That's...
Well. Okay, well we looked at them. Let's go.
I think she must be the receptionist.
Bravo,
Wowie.
Mr. Detective.
We're st-
Why
We're
do you have to
starting
be
out-
like that all the time?
Well, sometimes I
Little
seriously
nugget.
can't decide if you've become totally stupid over the years, or it just entertains you to act that way.
Well, you know,
Oh boy.
that's a
Oh
good
boy.
question.
That's exactly what I mean.
Y'all, please.
My name is Day-Night Diamond. Welcome to the
That's a name.
sweltering Nile, gentlemen.
Miss Diamond, I'm Sonny, and this is my partner, Marty.
She's got
If I may,
stripes
miss,
on her
you
arms.
have a beautiful name and exceptionally wonderful stripes.
Marty, not now.
Oh, thank you very much.
Please excuse him. He
Oh,
doesn't
my
visit places
God.
like this very often. Me neither, to be honest.
Oh, nothing to worry about, gentlemen. There's a first time for everyone.
That
You're
pause, though.
absolutely right.
We're just interested in a certain lady called Deborah.
Deborah. We don't have any employees by that name right now, but if you want, any of our girls would love to be Deborah for a night.
No. Excuse me, you misunderstand. She doesn't work here.
I'm afraid I don't follow.
It's kind of confusing, but let
100%
me
there
try
was
to
a-
explain.
Please,
Gentlemen.
I'm at your service. I'll gladly answer any of
It's
your
a
questions.
zebra.
You hear that, Sonny? Any questions?
Shut up, Marty.
Many questions. All the questions.
Have you been
sweltering
working here
Nile.
long, miss?
Almost 5 years, sir.
And do you like your job?
Very much so. I think it's only worth doing anything if you honestly enjoy it.
You hear that, Sonny? You should take that advice.
I'm on it, Marty. I'm trying to get myself fired if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, and me too.
Collateral damage.
Take them all down with you. Ask
Do
about
you
Lewis!
know a gentleman named Lewis C. Hayworth?
Of course I do. Mr. Hayworth is a regular guest at our establishment.
I see.
Are you just gonna
how
give out
regular, if I may
this kind of
ask?
information?
I can't give you any information
Okay.
about that. House policy.
You can tell
We
me
have
somebody's
that
been
too.
here, but you can't
It's
tell me
called
how
the law,
often.
ma'am.
If you have any questions of that nature, please come back with a warrant.
tell him.
Touche.
Strange
Does
list
this
of names?
list mean anything to you?
This?
Not the
I'm
horse
not sure.
policy.
No, nothing.
Don't you see some familiar names on there?
I do, but everybody knows those animals. Personally, I have no
Sorry,
contact
it's
with any of them.
Horse
I
policy.
see. Oh, thank you.
I don't want to show off my... Wait, strange
Look,
card.
she gave this to us. The girl named Deborah, the one we asked you about.
I see.
Do you know what this is?
Of course. It's a membership card.
Was this person a regular here?
If this belonged to her, then yes. I can check for you. Please, the ladies will entertain you while you wait.
Are there
I'll
any...
be right back.
Thank you.
They
Much
keep
obliged.
mentioning ladies. Are there any boys at this establishment that aren't just visitors? Hi, dog dame. What else can I look at? Okay. Alright. That's cool. That's great. That's great. Great. Great.
These brides are elegant. Just like Laszlo said.
Lewis.
What do you think could be the old rabbit's type? Fluffy tails, furry ears, a raspy tongue.
Oh, for the love of all the gods, stop it.
No, thank
Just
you.
think about it.
Please shut up, Marty.
No, Lewis. Okay, so we've looked at her. Let's look at the
Yeesh.
bird fella.
That guy's stare gives me the creeps.
Just trying to make sure you're
I
not doing
can see
anything bad,
why.
guys.
I've always told myself that birds are weird.
What did you just say?
Huh? What? Me? Nothing?
Is Marty not actually a chicken?
I apologize for the wait. Please, come with me, gentlemen.
So
Let's
you were
go.
successful.
My mistress, Madame Zavas, would like to meet you.
You mean that, Madame Savas?
As far as I know, there's
She
only
a
one of
gator?
her, so
She's a
Yes.
gator?
Please, miss, take us to her.
with pleasure.
Okay, but I wanted to see
Madame
if I could talk to her.
Zavas
It's
was a
fine.
legend in Clawville. Her name was known all over the wilderness. She's an avid royalist, former member of the Council of 12, spy master, assassin, businesswoman, and courtesan. To be
Wowie.
honest, I didn't even know she was still alive. She's no spring chicken, that's for sure. She could also be my mother, or maybe my grandmother. First Ibn Wessler, now her. Honestly, tonight it wouldn't surprise me if His Majesty Hector III didn't grace me with his presence.
That's saying a lot. Look at her. That's a portrait.
Interesting pieces.
Do you think so? It's the art of my people.
Crocodiles?
There are many
I think
kinds
he's
of
a lion.
crocodile in the wilderness, Mr. Featherland. This is the art of the Nilenites.
Ah, hence the name, the sweltering Nile.
It's a river, Mr. Featherland. My ancestors lived by this river a long
Crocky
time
mommy.
ago.
Ah, interesting.
I do
Thank
kind of
you.
love her. Every kind of book. Slime and punishment. 7 pieces of my mind. The death of the horse. 49 years of the reptile. Please.
There are books here on quite a variety of topics.
That's all you're gonna say about
There are
these?
books here on quite a
That's
variety
all you're gonna
of
say about
topics.
any of these. I see. All right. Official tweet lists. Hector the Third is King Fox. All right. Well, there you go. dead clock.
Is that the time already?
Have you noticed your clock's not working?
How observant you are. That clock isn't meant to show the time. It's a decoration. A memento.
It's
Hold on,
beautiful.
Sorry. I thought I had streamer mode on in Discord, and I don't. And that's a bit of a problem. There we go.
Indeed.
That's gonna be a puzzle for later. What if Zavos ends up dead?
What a painting. Congratulations, ma'am.
Marty.
Yes. It's beautiful indeed. It's more than 40 years old. You know, I was considered pretty then.
Did the person who do that
Don't
do
say
the one for
that.
Natasha?
You still look great, ma'am.
Thank you. It feels good, but no. There's no need for lies. Those days are long gone. Every age has its truth and its beauty. For me, beauty is not in the looks anymore.
I
I
do
agree,
really
man.
like her so far. Well, I mean, I don't know how aging works for some of these animals. We also don't know how long Natasha's painting was, or how long ago Natasha's painting was done. Meant to look at her.
So she is the legendary Madame Zavos. Let me introduce myself properly, ma'am.
Mr. Santino, I know who you are. And I also know your partner. The legend of the chicken police is always one step ahead of the chicken police.
Thank you. That's
Dougie?
flattering.
May I ask what you are looking for exactly?
Hi, Eiley, less than
here
3.
on this night?
You know, that's an interesting question.
Eiley less than
The
3,
card
you
we've
too.
shown your lovely colleague.
Thank you for the
Belongs
sub,
to an old
Dougie.
friend of ours whom
I
we
need to
haven't
get
seen for a long time.
Stream Elements
here.
not post
And
like
the
how many
name?
months in a row because I don't like
Unfortunately,
it.
no,
But
Mr. Santino,
Hi, friend.
that's
Thank you for the
confidential
sub.
information.
I hope
In
you're
my
doing
line
well.
of work, discretion is everything.
Well, you know,
We're talking
in
to-
our
to-
line of
to
work,
animals
the law
today.
is above everything.
Everything is
Oh,
great.
Do you think so? I could tell you what your colleagues think is also above everything, but as I said, discretion.
Look, ma'am, we don't want to impose. We're conducting a private investigation, which started
So I
off as
probably
harmless,
really like do.
but now it's murder.
Sounds about
That
right.
sounds serious.
It is serious. That's why we'd be grateful for your help.
In that
I
case, I'm at your
really like
service.
how text-to-speech
Ask
reads
your
out
questions,
emotes.
and I'm going
and
to
also
answer to the best of my
abbreviations.
knowledge. As long as you're not wading through muddy
Oh.
waters.
Hold on just a second. Lamia is crying and I need to go see if she's okay. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Lamia has taken to napping in the bedroom, which is fine. She can do whatever she wants. She's an independent cat. But it makes her waking up a little more scary for her because she doesn't know what's going on. She's out here now, eating some food and drinking some water. So she should be fine, but we'll see. Yeah. I missed your stream. How was Stillness of the Wind? Did you like it? What did you think of it, Dougie? Also, I don't know where the Russian kitty is. Maybe we'll find her. Good. Sorry, I just saw that my timers have been working, and that makes me very happy. Let's go ahead and get back over here. It was important that I look after my kitty cat.
Fortunately,
I swim well, too.
Stillness is a lot. Can I ask in what way? I don't know what this game is or what it entails. But also, don't play things that you don't want to play. Or save it for a time that you're ready to play it in.
As I was saying, it belongs to us. Only our most valuable guests have one of these. And our employees, of course.
the employees too. Good to know. Can you tell me if this card belonged to a guest or an employee?
No.
I thought so. Yes, thank you.
Lewis?
Lewis Hayworth is a good friend of mine. It surprises me that he's a regular here.
You wouldn't believe our clientele. You would be shocked.
No
Her
doubt.
little laugh
Lewis,
animation.
does he come here often?
Not so often.
Thank you for the vague answer, ma'am.
I
The mystery
just
is
love her.
thrilling. The thrill
Scar's
is
very
life
good,
itself.
but
That
she's
was
dope.
beautiful, ma'am.
Tell me, have you ever seen this list?
Always here for
I
a
have.
badass bitch.
Am I right to assume it has something to do with the sweltering Nile?
It does, yes. But I can't tell you more about it. No.
Discretion is key.
Absolutely.
Zavos is probably like one of my favorites thus far.
Do you know Natasha Katsenko personally?
Yes, I do.
Tell me about her.
Warm-hearted, protective, quick-tempered, fierce. Yes,
You
fierce.
just gonna stare at me?
Thank you.
Okay.
Very useful.
Where are they getting feather or leather coats from? I imagine they're all faux leather, faux feathers. It's fine.
This place isn't just our home with the girls. It's a sanctuary.
Really?
Lamia.
How?
It symbolizes why the city
That's
was
fine.
founded almost 1,000 years ago. Unity, love, freedom.
Interbreeding?
That too, yes. Do you have a problem with that?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't. My girlfriend's a predator.
Really? I'm glad to hear it.
I mean, I'm sure there's some that are not quite above board as far as leather and feather garments are concerned.
Deceit
But hey,
is everything to Zavos. She used to be a spy.
this face though.
So I'm gonna take her every word with a grain of salt.
She's deceptive, and her detective meter is starting out low. Always the front-facing chicken. Who's behind the legend, Miss Zavos? Who are you?
Who's
really?
behind the legend, Miss Zavos? Who are you, really?
Just an animal
Not
raised
well.
to survive, Mr. Featherland. And because I've been taught, I know how to survive. I always was what I had to be.
And you managed to dodge my question. Clever.
Well, you see, this is one of the typical elements of survival. The way of dodging a delicate question and still making the questioner believe he got the answer.
Hi!
But you're too cunning and experienced, aren't you?
You wanna come here?
You're not an easy one to fool.
I'm trying to maintain appearances, ma'am.
You should. Appearances most of the time are
Definitely,
stronger and more
definitely an
dangerous than the
investigator.
truth.
That makes sense. That makes sense, Dougie. I'll have to look into it. I'm here for those kinds of games, but also understand that's not always something that you want to do or are prepared for. I'm gonna go grab Lamia because she's being a turd. Hold on. Here. Also, welcome in, Stars, yeah? How's it going? How are you doing? No apologies, Dougie. You good. You good. Hi. You wanna lay down? Would you like to say hello to everyone? You want to say hi? Here's the bean. What are you doing, little baby? Want to sit down? Nice! Hi. What are you doing, Lamia? Getting all the knitting done. That's super exciting. Are you gonna barf on me? So I would like it if you didn't do that. Lamia, please! Hold on. If you're gonna bomb, don't do it on me. You're okay, babe. I'll be right back, y'all. Okay, it was a false alarm. Sorry! She ate her food too fast, and then made it seem like she was gonna hurl, but she didn't. We're fine. Everything's okay. This goober. Oh my goodness. Alright. Making a hat! That's super exciting! I'm sorry that the pattern is annoying with the yarn, but... yeah, the old scarf and barf. She's a weirdo. My cat. I love her to death, but my god. We're good. Alright. Our impressions have changed from to deceptive and survivor. Isn't it dangerous being a loyalist or royalist?
Isn't it
nowadays?
dangerous being a royalist nowadays?
You know, Mr. Featherland, those that are genuinely dedicated never care about danger. That's something you must know even better than I.
Do you think it's my loyalty that motivates me the most? If you do, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Maybe you're not loyal to the police, Mr. Featherland, but you are to your own principles and ideals. Am I right?
That's true, but you're avoiding the question. Why did you stay in the king's employment after the scandals that are making half the city riot? What makes you still believe so much in the institution of monarchy?
You know, I always adapt, but only to a degree where I still don't have to give up myself and my ideals for the sake of survival.
You'd rather die then?
Maybe it would seem too dramatic or even romantic to you, but yes, exactly.
I swear to God, if this lady dies, I'm
sorry
gonna be
to
very
doubt
upset.
you, but I've always thought your kind was rather compromised.
Do you mean spies or crocodiles?
Spies, of course.
I must disappoint you, but there aren't many groups as loyal and unwavering as the spies, Mr. Featherland.
If you're telling me, ma'am, I believe you.
That took us down. Okay. What is this?
What is the sweltering Nile? Is it really just a luxury brothel?
First of all, it's what it looks like. Luxurious relaxation with luxurious ladies and gentlemen. For wealthy ladies and gentlemen with luxurious needs.
And under the surface?
If you're insinuating that my girls are kind of spies, you're on the wrong track. On a very wrong track, to be precise.
Gonna chomp you, Sonny.
Don't they have confidential information on almost all the wealthy bachelors of Clawville?
Bachelors? Don't be naive. Almost exclusively married men visit here.
Wowie.
Well, then my question is even more valid.
Of course, they know much. Many visit here who don't care about sex, Mr. Featherland.
I don't think Lewis
Some
is
come here
married.
to talk. And meanwhile, they inadvertently say a lot about themselves.
Which makes them
But
easy
I don't
targets for
know.
blackmail, right?
It could, yes, but even the assumption is offensive.
Fuck, I'm doing this so bad. We're probably gonna have to go through it again, because this is not great. What? What? Can I help you? What do you want? What? Lay down. Lay down. What are you doing? Come here. Hey. Come here. What a needy baby. Give her all the hug you want. Being a butthole. Look at her. Look at this goober. Look at her! She just wanted to be wrapped up. She just wanted to be wrapped up and told that she was a good girl.
If I guess who the card belongs to, will you tell me?
I wouldn't say that's an acceptable price for such a secret as this, but
She's such
if
a
you guess
baby.
right, I won't lie to you. Then, I will tell you you were right. Yes.
Good. Let's
Okay.
see. The answer to my question, Natasha Katsenko.
Well, Mr. Featherland, it seems the gossip about you is right. What gave it away?
It couldn't have been easier. There's a beautiful woman with a mysterious past, trying to keep it a secret,
Natasha's
while
card?
someone's threatening her with the exact same thing, leaving rather unmistakable messages behind. Plus, we found the card on Deborah, who was her best friend and confidant, so she was either trying to hide it or destroy it forever, so no one could find out the truth. Am I right so far?
Indeed, Mr. Featherland.
So if I'm not mistaken, Natasha used to work for you before she met Ibn Wessler. He fell in love with her, gave her a job at the Millions Club. The rest is history.
You have talent, Mr. Featherland. I'm really sorry you're not working for the government.
I am
Are
working
you?
for the government. I'm a cop.
No, that's working for cops, Sonny.
Are you sure, Mr. Featherland?
Sonny, that's working for cops.
Touché.
Indeed. Natasha used to work here. We can put it that way, but you know, this isn't just a workplace. She also lived here. She was part of our family, and we still love her very much.
Right. That puts everything in a different light. Savas is a true survivor, always was. And she's proud of that, even to this day. Maybe I can get her to trust me
Always.
if I play to this part of her.
Always so jarring when we look at Sonny just head on. Oh, we've done this so bad. Can I just like retry? Oh, it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna continue. Tried to shape her into your image. You tried to protect her. Why did you take her in? Maybe you saw yourself in Natasha? Everyone in the city thinks you're dangerous. Why is that?
Why did you take her in? Maybe you saw yourself in Natasha.
She was only 17 when she knocked on the rear entrance of the brothel on an unusually cold, rainy night. I opened the door myself.
Was Natasha alone?
Yes, completely alone. Her left arm was slashed with an ugly wound, and she was frozen to the bone, barefoot, only a thin nightgown on her.
Did she tell you what happened to her?
After I brought her into the house, warmed her up, and changed her into new clothes, that was the first thing I asked. But no, she didn't tell me. We became very good friends, but I still don't know what happened to her and where she came from, or how she knew about this place and the rear entrance.
And you weren't bothered by all those secrets?
That would have been very hypocritical of me, don't you think? No, it didn't bother me. I make a living out of secrets, Mr. Featherland.
I see.
That was a good one. Great, I did good.
Do you know where Natasha
Finally.
came from before Clawville?
Naturally. The poor dear couldn't even deny it. Even her name's eloquent, her accent, but mostly her manners, Mr. Featherland. She's from Stovos, and she belonged to the upper class of Stavonian social circles. She could barely even speak the language when I first met her.
That's all you know about her. An ex-spy like you must have checked up on her new protege's past.
That's the most exciting thing. Yes, I have. Multiple times putting my most treasured connections to good use. But nobody found anything. Natasha's trail could only be traced back to the Stavonian border. What happened in that country, no one knows.
She's absolutely part of whatever royal Stavonian group was there.
It's
The one that was
rather
massacred or
curious,
whatever?
don't you think?
100%.
It is, Mr. Featherland, yes. Curious. That's why I've always been rather fond of Natasha.
Did it touch you deeply when she left you?
Indeed, it did.
Zavos is protective. It seems she's dedicating her whole life to her proteges. If I concentrate on that, maybe she'll open up to me.
Let's go. Why did you let her leave with Lesser? This first one is a no. Have you kept in touch? Why'd you let her leave with Wessler, I guess? I think so, yeah.
Why did you let her leave with Wessler?
I think you are correct, Emmy.
What else could I have done? Wessler is a handsome, rich, powerful animal, and Natasha fell in love with him. If anything, I know you can't stand in the way of a woman in love. There's nothing more dangerous, Mr. Featherland.
Thank you for the hydrate, Emmy. I have water in my mug today. It's blue raspberry flavored, because we're fancy sometimes.
I've been in this job for more than 20 years, but I haven't heard that one before.
Thank you for the contribution as well, Arcade. Thank you for the hydrate, Emmy. Reminder, everyone in chat, you should also drink some water when we get a hydrate reminder.
You see? You learn something new every day if you have an open mind.
It's important to drink some water. Do the water thing. Okay. I am so bad at this. Go refill your bottle. Are you angry at her for leaving? For each of my blabber secrets. When was the last time you saw her? When was the last time you saw her,
Madame Zavas?
Maybe around 2 months ago. There was a ball attended by Ibn Wessler, his beautiful mate Natasha, and myself. Yes.
Was she herself? Did you feel like she was afraid or worried about something?
On the contrary, she was unrestrained, free, radiant. She was in love. Yes, in her own unique way.
What do you mean?
You know Natasha loves on a different level than most Clawville women. Or most women in the wilderness, in fact. Maybe it's because of the Stovonian origins. Perhaps it's something else.
So you didn't notice anything strange about her?
Well, if anything could be called strange, it was that I saw a woman positively floating above the ground, who previously used to stand on it with 2 feet.
Okay.
I see. Thank you, madam. How did you feel when you learned Natasha was going to leave?
Honestly, I was very hurt. I loved her as a daughter. How would you have felt?
I couldn't say.
And I still couldn't stop her, and you know why?
Of course I do. Because you loved her.
You've been in my shoes before, am I right, Detective? Yes, I can feel you have.
This isn't about me, madam. Please stop changing the subject.
I have felt betrayed on a certain level. Yes, and offended, and alone. Even amongst all my friends.
Were you disappointed in her?
Only in myself, Mr. Featherland. But I have a hunch you know this feeling very well.
Yes, you're right. Well, thank you for your time, madam.
I did such a bad job during that
Anytime, Detective.
interrogation. Fucking hell.
Yes. Anytime.
Okay, well, it's no worse than I usually have done. It's sometimes hard to, like... I don't know. I have a hard time sometimes figuring out, like, which question is the one that's, like, on track. It's fine. I think we agreed that as long as I was at, like, decent cop or above,
Please,
leave it.
gentlemen, wait here a moment. I would like to show you something that could help you.
Oh, that's excellent news. Thank you. We will wait. Do you
Forgot
trust
Marty
her?
was here.
Not in the slightest. Even her smile is fake. This woman wallowed in other animals' secrets until she became one too.
That's exactly how I feel.
Anyway, now that we're here, we can take a better look around.
Just what I was thinking.
And
Beautiful pieces for sure. They must be worth a fortune.
Every kind of book?
These books are here for a reason. They mean something. These books are here.
Oh, they have... Is it the ones that have, like, numbers on them? I'm supposed to match it to the clock? So, is there anything?
Yes. This is the Zavas from the legends. Beautiful and deadly.
What is that? 11:45? Oh! 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 Is it gonna be 7:49?
These books are...
Is there anything else I can, like, look at?
Nothing interesting here.
Okay. Hey, Sunny.
These books are... These books are...
You're just gonna say the same thing
These
about
books...
all of these, aren't you?
These books are... These books are...
Okay, then is it... We've got 3 books with numbers. 7:49 1. So is it 7:50 or 8:49? It was 7:50. There we go.
A hidden door. Who'd have thought?
She is a legendary ex-spy.
It's fine. We
Well,
did it. We figured it out.
This is something I've never understood. Why isn't a key good enough? I mean, you can take that
Sorry.
with you, but riddles can be solved by anyone.
I don't think many animals get to be in this room, Marty. And the other thing is...
Maybe she wanted us to find it.
Exactly what I'm thinking. Who knows? Anyway, we're going in.
Let's go! What's in the secret door?
This room is not like her at all.
The other must have been for show. Marty, this is the reality. We're talking about a professional spy.
Team, let's go! Hold on, sorry. Okay.
A former spy.
Still, if anyone knows how to mask her real face, it's her.
But you think this is who she really is? Cold, dark, and tiny.
And full of secrets.
There's the king. We see him now. He is Fox.
Ugh,
Waltz?
this place gives me the creeps.
Me too. We better get out of here before she comes back.
Ladies of the Force.
Ah, names, numbers, dates. Oh, furry gods.
Do you think they all belong to the brothel?
Hell no. Half of it is a matter of national security.
What did we step into?
You know what? I don't care, Marty. I'm too old for conspiracies.
And yet here you
The
are,
only
Sonny.
thing that matters to me is to find out what the furry hell we're doing here.
And
He's an
what
old
it has
king.
to
Would
do
that make
with
him a
Natasha.
silver fox? Listen.
Sure.
Yes. 100%. Okay, we looked at the drawers. I want to look at everything.
Hector the Third. Our great and fair king.
I feel sorry for the poor fox, to be honest.
I don't. He has it pretty good.
Would you like to live your life as a puppet? Everything you do, carefully planned. Your rule and authority, the whole thing, just for show.
Even if he is just a puppet, Clawville needs a king. He gives strength and hope to many animals.
I guess.
So the rumors are true.
Military intelligence. This dame's really something. I'm starting to think the whole brothel is just a cover.
Makes sense. You think she's still working for Royal Intelligence?
Probs.
Well, based on what she told us, she's a committed royalist. So I imagine she does.
Okay, so that's it's on the typewriter.
Somebody started typing a letter but left it unfinished.
There's a
What
website.
does it say?
Number 2947222. Report about separatist group movements.
Damn it. Don't even read that.
What? Why not?
I don't know about you, but I don't want to get caught up in the royalist-separatist conflict. What you don't know can't hurt you, right?
I can't even recognize you, boss. Where did you put your sense of adventure?
My sense of adventure has retired. Leave it alone.
Oh no, code definition. Never mind. Not it. I just saw the slashes and the colon, and I was like, oh, it's not. Code definition: moon deliver parrot grass shining angel wing 6. We decode it with
This has got to be it, Marty.
Oh!
Look at the missing page.
Oh, gods. And look at the names.
Yeah, the ladies and their guests.
Damn.
What this means, Marty, is that the most influential people in the city had been Natasha's patrons. Some even from the royal family.
This book could destabilize Clawville.
This game has good puns. Listen, this game has good puns, TK.
At least the Clawville we currently know.
You think this is behind everything?
Goodness gracious.
Somebody's blackmailing Natasha because of this?
That could easily be the case. But something still doesn't fit. That piece of a painting.
Sonny?
If there's even a small chance of...
Sonny,
What?
there's another familiar name here.
What are you talking about?
Whose name? Is it Molly? Oh! There it is! Number 19! And number 9.
Clucking hell, Sonny. Molly?
She was working here too.
It's probably someone else with the same name.
So that's why Natasha told me they'd known each other for a long time.
Oof.
Look, boss.
I can't believe it. All those stories about her past.
Listen, Boss Bird. Molly loved you, right? Isn't that what matters?
Marty, please shut your fucking beak right now or I'll shut it for you.
Okay, boss. I'm sorry. But
Just shut the cluck up.
We've caught them sneaking around, Miss Diamond, you see?
Yikes!
I see, madam.
Oh, yikes!
no, back off, ladies.
I like how Miss Diamond's nails are alternating between black and white.
There's no need for this. We don't want trouble.
No, maybe you don't. Unfortunately, trouble has found you, gentlemen.
Marty's already pulled out Big Bertha.
Madam say, boss, we needed to know the connection. What this place has to do with Natasha.
And?
And my wife.
Filthy cops? He's talking gibberish. May I shoot him?
No, not yet, Miss Diamond.
I'd be very sorry to put holes in your lovely striped skin, but believe me, baby, I will. I've always wanted to know if diamonds are bulletproof.
Please, madam. It'll all be over in a second.
No. We have received different orders, Miss Diamond. Stand down.
Oh, I see. The pony does tricks on command. Well, I'm not surprised.
Marty, you're not helping.
That's enough, Marty. You knew who she was, didn't you? What she meant to me.
Well, well, Mr. Featherland. Aren't you interested in your case anymore? No? All it took was a name from your past, and your professionalism drowned in the mud.
Stop playing games with me, Zavas. What does all this have to do with Molly?
Nothing at all. No, she was just a little bird among the many who sought refuge here.
You forced her into this.
You'd love to hear that, but until she met you, she was one of us. Just another...
You clucking...
Sonny, no!
Oh, shit!
I think I was dreaming. But it wasn't the kind of dream you'd want to remember.
Yikes.
Dark and painful.
Sorry.
Then
Not
the
the egg.
suffocating smoke woke me. It wasn't fried eggs, that's for sure. Where was I? What happened? That treacherous crocodile.
Still
And
like
I
they
saw
boss.
Marty, who looked as horrible as I felt. Well, I've always wanted a romantic sea voyage.
God damn it. I knew I shouldn't have gone along with this.
Marty, I told you you could get out any time.
And you knew damn well that I wouldn't. That I would never leave you in deep shit once I've joined you. You knew it, and you still asked me to do it.
Marty, listen.
You're a selfish bastard, Sonny. And you drag everyone around you down with you. How long was it till retirement? 120 days?
Hey, Marty, do you want to do this conversation another time?
121.
But you just couldn't sit still on your ass, could you? Well, take a good look around, boss bird. This is you. And this is what follows you. Just this clucking misery. And dead bodies. Do you understand? You have nothing else to offer but suffering.
Marty, listen.
Marty.
These are all valid points. Is now the time.
And feeling sorry for yourself. Oh, you're great at that. I can't believe this shit. We're gonna die here on a goddamn blazing ship like roast chicken. Well, it's dramatic at least, just like you like it.
Marty.
What?
I've almost managed to untie the knot. But if you keep thrashing around like that, we're really gonna die here.
For cluck's sake, fine. Work your magic. Until then, I'm gonna say all the prayers I know.
You better.
Okay. Ropes, ladder, flames. Ropes? Oh! Oh, I see. Oh, piss. I was doing so well. Like, I get I have to stay in the rope, but also if I wiggle out just a little bit, can we be kind and be cool with that? Honestly, it is already, like, fairly forgiving.
So what now?
Now we run
cool.
and swim.
I can't swim.
Well, you better learn fast or you'll die. I'm not gonna drag your fat ass to the shore if that's what you're hoping.
Oh no.
I shouldn't have brought this many guns with me.
Throw them away then.
Never.
Then they'll drag you down into the deep. I don't care. I always thought your gun mania would be your undoing.
Fuck you, Sonny.
We have to survive this
I do
first.
like the puzzles in this game. Like, they're fairly simple and
Well,
straightforward, but
after
they're
you, boss
they're kind of
bird.
cute. Let's go. Get out of there, Sonny. Get out of there, Marty. Get out of there, chicken cops.
That furry, fucking clucking gods. Damn.
Yeah.
Listen, Marty.
What?
What you said on the ship.
What about it?
You were right. I knew this would happen. Or something like it. I dragged you into this deliberately. Because I'm not enough on my own.
Sonny, cut the crap.
No, I'm serious. I knew I couldn't do this alone.
I'm so stressful.
I needed you to look out for me.
And I've talked about it before, but I love... I've got a soft spot in my heart for, like, games or movies or anything that's, like, black and white, but then adds, like, splashes of color in there. And so, like, having, like, you know, a black and white scene, but, like, the fire is the color that fire is, just, like, was very good. I love it.
I don't need this, alright? Stop playing the wounded soul.
It's
I
very
don't
good.
fucking care.
Fair enough. You're right.
Hell yeah, I'm fucking right.
I'll, shut up now.
Good.
Capybara?
Cluck
Hi, buddy.
me. That's old Captain Marsh. I thought he died 50 years ago.
Would you like to sit in a spot and
I think I
toot a
must
little
have hit my
bit?
head pretty badly.
Oh, he's all wiggly.
Say, isn't that Captain Marsh?
You see him too? Oh, thank the gods.
Ho, 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 lads. What the hairy devil are you doing out here? Isn't it a bit cold for a swim?
It was warm on the ship, at least while it was burning.
I bet it was. Arr.
It's a capybara.
Hey, Captain, how's it hanging?
It's hanging all right.
I love him.
What about you lovers? What was all that ruckus, eh?
Oh, I think someone tried to kill us, Captain. Again.
Come on, Boise. There's nothing new there.
Yeah, old rust can't be scraped away.
Did you see anything, Captain?
Arr, of course I have. A burning ship. Then two cocks suddenly learned to fly. And even swim, by gad. Oh, what a time to be alive, eh?
I love him.
You haven't changed a bit, old man.
I love him so much.
Sure I haven't. I'm steady, like the Sea of Clawville.
Yeah, except that Clawville doesn't have a sea.
Of course it does, laddie. Just not here in Clawville.
Okay. That's too much for me.
Can I ask you some questions, buddy?
Tell me, Captain, do you hang out here all the time?
This behind me is me ship, lads. Or at least, it's a ship I'm living in at the moment. It's not mine, you know.
And what do you do?
Well, I stand here and watch the sea.
Okay.
The
Okay,
sea?
Captain Marsh.
You mean the River Times?
River. Arr, that was a good one, boy.
Okay.
He's
A black
Okay,
car
that's fine.
stopped
That's
not
fine.
far from here. A
It's fine.
rich-looking car, shiny and all.
Yeah? What else?
It's fine.
Two
I'm not gonna
big
argue with him on
lads
it.
Stepped out of it. One of them was looking like some kind of cow. The other was a cat, a big cat. They were fancy looking at the ship. I don't blame them. It's not something you see every day.
Is
I
it the...
swear on all the
Not
saints
the-
of the sea.
not the-
Arr.
Bernie, please. Also, hi, friend. Do you think it's the ram and no yawns and the bobcat from Bazaar?
Just a wild guess. Was it a
Hey,
ram
this-
and a bobcat?
It's literally what I just said, Sonny.
Arr, exactly. Are you friends of theirs?
That's fair.
Well,
But hi.
an acquaintance. It's the bouncer of the Tsar Club and the goon that was hanging around Ibn.
Plumey gods. Zavas answers to Ibn too. Or at least they're connected.
Yeah.
They're buddies. They're pals.
Oh, arr. That sounds exciting.
Easy, old-timer.
Okay. Bouncers?
This Ram fella, what did he do after watching us?
Arr, nothing at all, laddie. When that lovely ship started to sink, they got into their pretty car and got away like bats out of hell.
So they didn't see us swimming to shore.
I wouldn't know that.
What now?
I don't know. We can't go to the station, that's for sure.
We agree on that.
I think I broke a rib or two.
My sight's getting blurry.
Pluck me. You know what this means?
Oh, no. I'd rather go blind than go to Bubo's.
We have to, pal.
We're gonna meet the owl!
I'm not your pal, especially after tonight.
Come on, we got no choice.
Well, we survived the burning ship. I guess we'll survive the madman too.
I'm
Don't
so
be so
excited to meet this wacky owl. I still want to ask him questions.
Do you know anything about the place called the Sweltering Nile?
Of course I do, me boys. But they don't really tolerate folks like me there.
Not surprised. Have you heard anything unusual about it?
Arr, sure I have. They have the most beautiful wenches there, laddie. Like sirens of the sea.
Yeah, okay,
And
bud.
they're willing to do anything for you. If only I were a spring chicken like ye are, I'd be already running over there.
Well,
Captain Marsh,
actually,
please.
Captain, that's where we came from.
On a burning ship? Bloody hell. You know how to live, lads.
We're doing our best, Captain.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, you be.
Talk to me about Zavos.
Have you heard the name Madame Zavas?
When I was young like ye, they were talking about a gorgeous crocodile with that name. Aye, beautiful and deadly. Just how I like my women.
Okay, Captain Marsh.
Me too.
It's her, yeah. Less beautiful now, but just as deadly.
She has something to do with the burning ship, eh?
You're quite the detective.
So I've been told.
Okay, that's everything that we need to ask there. We have lots of things that have updated. My god. Okay. And we've got 2 new places that we can check out. We can go to Bubo's. We can go to Bubo's. That's it. Great. Chapter 3! Dang. Going
Bubo
through these.
used to work at the PD as a coroner and pathologist. Then a couple of limbs and organs went missing, and the morphine stock suspiciously depleted, so the force said goodbye to him.
I love
He
him
then
already.
set up a private practice, but lost his license pretty quick. Now he's doing something that vaguely resembles medicine, fixing up gangsters and bent coppers. Or pigeons like us. I hadn't seen the doc since he had to pick a dozen pellets out of my drumstick. Thanks, Monty.
I love Bubo already.
Well. Look who the cat dragged in. The one and only chicken coppers in the rotting flesh.
I fucking love him.
Good evening
Sir.
to you too, old owl.
Aw, has he shot you again?
Not yet.
Ha, it is to laugh. I just need a strong painkiller, and since we're already here, some information too.
Well, then I hope your pockets are full.
Hold on a second. I am a smidge chilly. I need a sweater. Which I have, right here. At the ready. So I figured this would happen. Also, there's Llama. Doing llama things. Like sleeping. Okay.
We just crawled out of the river, so if it's all right with you, I can pay with a pocket full of mud.
Well, I owe you one anyway.
Sorry, I hate it when you put a sweater on, but the shirt on under it is all bunched up and weird. This is fun. There we go.
One. Don't make me laugh, Bubo. You're indebted to us for the rest of your life.
Okay. Tell me what's wrong and do it fast. It's a busy night. On New Year's Eve, animals love to shoot or even eat each other.
Tell me about it. Tonight's starting to remind me of the bloody New Year's Eve.
Or worse.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Did you come here to cry me a river? Spit it out. Then get your wobbly waddles out of here. Ursula will be home soon.
Charming as ever, old bird.
Look at the skeleton!
Who's that?
Who? Oh, he's my father.
Your what?
Why are you so surprised? He gave his body to science.
Then what's he doing here?
Hoo. You're a hilarious guy.
That was a good one, Sonny.
Yeah, thanks.
Huh. Two infantile monkeys.
I love him.
What do you think? Is this a medical illustration or the good doc's dinner?
Unfortunately, the two are often one and the same.
Ugh.
Is there anything else? No. Science
Like in
stuff.
the cave of the vampire bat in those horror movies.
You're right. I think all of these are illegal, or worse.
Occult magic.
Demonology.
Sonny, please.
Perverse desires.
Please.
Unholy dealings.
Would you two shut the cluck up?
Oh my goodness.
This is just for decoration, right? Somehow I can't picture you playing the classics.
It's Ursula's, not mine. She plays beautifully.
I can imagine.
Hey, shut your beak or I'm gonna sew it shut for you.
All right, calm down.
Give me that book.
Oh,
Search
yuck.
blood.
It's soaked with blood. Fresh blood.
Enjoy your food, stars. Thanks for hanging out and just being here with us. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Happy eating.
I was operating on someone a few minutes ago.
Totally sober, huh?
More or less.
Probably less.
My hands tremble if I don't drink, okay? Just leave me alone.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
Do you keep the
shady
dead
room.
bodies and your stolen morphine stash here?
The morphine's long gone.
Oh, poor Boobo.
Watch your beak, Martin.
Boobo.
Spit it out. What do you want from me? I have a busy night.
Busy?
I had to patch up two muscleheads a few minutes ago. Of course, they ran off and didn't pay.
What muscleheads?
Wait, let me guess. A ram and a bobcat.
How did you know?
Shit. What was their problem? Why did they come here?
The bobcat's hand was badly burned and something had sliced the ram.
Well, it's not an easy job to haul two unconscious roosters onto an abandoned ship and then set it on fire.
What have you gotten yourselves into again, you fools?
I love his
Those
really
two
bored
work for
expression.
Ibn Wessler.
It's very good.
Yeah, don't say.
Well, in this case, it was nice to know you, gentlemen.
Don't celebrate in advance, Doc. As you can see, we're not so easy to kill.
Just tell us everything you know.
And well, all right.
Oh.
Ask away. But I must warn you. If Ursula comes home and sees you here, she'll either kick you out or maul you to death.
Ursula's a bear and I love her.
Joking aside, how are you, Doc? Long time no see.
These characters have really just sort of like endeared themselves to me.
Oh, you should get shot more often, then you'd see me more.
Yeah, right. I'm on it.
I'm still alive. Clawville's still standing, to my surprise. Ursula still bears with me, to my even greater surprise.
Bear with me.
What else can I say?
You don't need anything else then, right?
I mean, Marty? I mean, Marty's fine.
You know,
Marty's fine.
I could use a big house,
He's
a normal
fine.
job, and a ton of money. And it'd be great
Could do without
if that
Lewis.
ridiculous King Hector would finally resign from the throne.
So you still support the Separatists?
Wow, this old owl's heart is beating.
But your life partner is a bear.
Not a problem as long as I don't marry her.
You're a goddamn hypocrite, Bubo.
Bear with me.
Why, thank you.
Or will be. There will be a bear with me.
What does this tell
It's
you,
fine.
Bubo?
Marty is fine.
That you tore off the corner of a painting?
There's a bear with Bubo.
Not that. What do you make of it?
That somewhere a painting is missing a corner.
Don't cluck with me, old man.
I'm not. I'm completely serious.
Love Bubo.
Thanks for the help.
Don't mention it.
Tell me about Ursula.
Love is still in the
Bear
air,
with
I
Bubo.
see.
I'm a prisoner, boys.
Yeah, the prisoner of your stupidity.
Easy for you to say. You can't get
God,
rid of a
what is this
woman
cat?
like her so easily.
The Calcithong. Cute. Cute.
Why? Because she's a bear and weighs a ton?
No. Because no matter how much I hate her, I still love her more than anything.
Oh no, boomer humor.
Aw, touching.
Hold your tongue, McChicken.
Okay, Bubo, you've kind of fallen down
What
on
do you
my
know
on
about
my
Madame
scale of
Zavas
liking
and
just
her
a bit.
affairs?
Zavas, huh? Who? That woman's probably even more dangerous than Ibn Wessler himself.
Oh, great news.
Is there some kind of link between them?
Ibn's contacts span the entire city, and his new girlfriend, that Natasha, worked in the brothel once.
Bubo doesn't care. Bubo will never, ever say his
How do you
lines
know
fast
that?
enough.
Everybody knows.
Oh, great. We almost died for that information.
Why didn't you ask?
Shut up, okay?
Fucking Jimmy Taco.
So that Ram and his partner, did they talk about something? About their plans, where they're going next?
The Bobcat didn't say a word, he just growled. But the Ram couldn't shut up, and he talks like a butler or something. He's got a very strange vocabulary, I must say.
What did they say, Bubo? Get to the point.
After they've done the job, killing you, I guess, they said they have to kill a rat, too.
A rat?
Figuratively. An informer.
Oh, okay.
Someone who spilled the beans and hurt Mr. Wessler's interests.
I was concerned that they were gonna go after Ibn,
An
despite
informer.
working for him.
They called him a sneaky little bastard, too, if that helps.
That's gotta be Zip.
Not
Of
Zip!
course. Zip. Damn it.
Well,
We have to
then
go save
that
Zip
Fleabag's done
immediately.
for.
Hold your horses, Marty. Zip is like a cockroach, practically immortal.
I guess. We gotta help him then.
I'm afraid you're right. We still owe him one.
One?
I didn't even hear that, Bubo. So, who tried to get us out of the way, and why?
Ibn. Right. Ibn and Zavos tried to get us out of the way. Zavos and Ibn are working together? I mean, he mentioned that Zavos is just a goon of Ibn Wessler, but I don't think that's accurate, but it's not it. Okay.
Maybe Zavos is in cahoots with Ibn Wessler.
Is it the card? No, the clue, sorry.
But why? Just because Natasha used to work at that place?
Ibn doesn't know that Natasha worked at the brothel. Ibn wants to hide Natasha's secret, or is it Natasha herself? Ibn tried to kill Natasha because she worked at the brothel. He's the culprit. Natasha was forced to work at the brothel by Madame Zavos and Ibn Wessler. Wants to hide her secret?
Wants to hide the tracks leading to Natasha's past. Or maybe it was Natasha herself.
Objection. This. Never mind. We still want clues. I don't...
But what does it have to do with
Sometimes
Zip?
the way that they want me to draw
Why
the
do they want to
conclusions is
kill
weird,
the
but it's fine.
raccoon?
Zip was the one who found out that Natasha once worked at the brothel. Zip also worked at the brothel in the past. Zip knows too much about Natasha's past and Wessler's dealings. Zip has something that connects Miss Zavos with Ibn Wessler, and also Natasha's secret as a passport. No. JK. Zip knows too much.
Zip knows something or has something that can unveil Natasha and Ibn's secret. We need to find out what it is.
Hey!
Sonny, there's something else. Your car is here behind the building. Ursula covered it with a tarp.
What? Why?
She saw it in front of the brothel. And she also saw the madam's girls trying to take it apart.
Furry gods. What did she do to them?
Well, a couple of dames with guns are not enough to scare my dear Ursula, that's for sure. But relax. She didn't tear them to pieces. She just chased them off and got away with your car.
Thanks, Ursula.
You know, for once, that's wonderful news.
Yeah, I wore my legs down to get here.
Warmest regards to Ursula when she gets back, Doc. She may have saved our lives.
Of course I will. Now, cluck off, will you?
Ah, you're the best, Boobo.
I know. Will you kindly get lost?
We don't have anything else to ask him, so... It is time... I don't really, know that there's anything at these places that we need to go, but let's go ahead and stop at the weekend house.
Yeah, the boys were quite fast, I admit.
What are we gonna tell them? Any chance we were just joyriding around here?
Not much. That's why they're gonna believe it.
You think so?
Just watch and learn, cub. Hey, boys. I see you're working hard.
Hey, what about you? What the hell are you doing here?
And we were just driving through when we saw the party.
And who are you trying to feed that bullshit to?
Yeah, we're not eating that, Sonny.
This isn't your neighborhood. So, out with it. Why are you here?
Pull back the spikes. What's going on? Just fill us in, fellas.
Oh.
Just tell us what's
Young
happening.
girl, around 25 to 30 years old. Pretty? Some kind of dough or something?
Impala, you moron.
She was an Impala indeed, fellas.
Marty, you idiot.
Wait, how do you know that, Marty?
One of the officers mentioned it. Don't blow your top, okay? Carry on. We don't have
Marty
all night.
needs to shut up and never speak ever again.
So, the girl was naked. There's no trace of predation. We don't even know how she died. It's the coroner's day off.
Huh. Another thing that only happens in Clawville, huh?
Which reminds me, what are you even doing here?
We're securing the area.
Yeah, I can see that.
I beg your pardon, Marty.
I said have a nice time doing nothing, boys. I mean, securing.
Well... Bosco!
Sorry, guys. Crime scene. You can come in if you want, Marty, but unfortunately, Sonny counts as a civilian.
It's all right, Bosco. We understand. Anyway, I don't think whatever's in there would surprise us much.
Marty, shut up!
Why'd you say that?
Oh my god!
Oh, nothing. We've just heard what's going on. It's one ugly case.
Yeah, She was young and full of life. At least I think so. Sometimes I feel like I'm too old for this shit, you know?
I swear to God, Marty is going to be the reason we get busted.
I heard there wasn't any predation here. It's a simple murder case, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be, but the city's too busy tonight. We simply don't have enough officers on duty to cover everything. Sound familiar?
Yes, it does.
So everyone's doing everything, eh?
And nothing. Not what they should, anyway. But you know, I'm not even here. I just stepped in to take a look at the case for the boss. I'm already heading back to the PD.
We just happen to be around here too, so we'll be on our way now.
See you soon?
Yeah, afraid so.
Okay, cool.
The rain's not gonna wash that off, I'm sure.
No, it won't. Not for my mind, anyway.
Okay. I didn't think there was gonna be anything important there, but it was worth a shot. Let's go look at the sweltering Nile.
Sonny, you sure they'll welcome us here?
No, they won't, but I don't care.
I like this new Sonny. You know, since the incident with the burning ship, I see these girls in a different light.
Yeah.
No wonder. These demons are capable of anything.
For sure, Sonny.
Marty, please.
For sure.
It's not the chickens being called whores, it's the Russian blue cat. It's fine. This is why we're here. This is why we've gotten mixed up into this, is because we were looking into who was writing these threatening messages.
Hey, I didn't mean it
back,
like
Arcade.
that, okay? Be professional. Hard as stone.
You're right. Wounded, tough, stone-hard cops.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
That's right. I have a feeling we don't fit in here.
Well, we did just crawl out of a river after escaping from a burning ship.
That these furies happened to set on fire.
Exactly. So that means we deserve some premium compensation.
Goodness gracious.
Don't even think about it.
I don't really think there's anything else that we can do here. That's fine. Oh, we can go to Mullins now?
Look at what the wind of the sea dragged in. Our gull friend in the flesh.
Can't believe it. Is this guy everywhere?
The gull sees farthest who flies highest, Marty.
Yeah, that guy's never given up. That's clucking sure.
Who's this? Timothy!
Hey there, Timster. Long time no
Don't
see.
call him Timster.
Hey, boys. What a lovely surprise.
He a journalist?
Do you also have a deja vu, Sonny? It's like all of this had already happened, isn't it?
Yeah, now that you mention it.
I wasn't following you boys, I swear.
I thought a lady wrote the
We
books.
never said you were, Timbo. But what exactly are you doing here? It's a little far away from Roachtown.
Okay, I confess. I was following you. But I simply had to know what this is all about and how it's gonna end. It's my job, after all. Well, you have to understand, pals.
We're not your pals, Tim. And I'm telling you for the last time, get the clock off our backs, or it's gonna end up a lot different for you than you think.
Ah, that's harsh. Even from you, Sonny. Did something happen? Did you get dragged into something personal? And on New Year's Eve again? Yeah, I mean, what's the chance of that? Bloody New Year's is back? Is there a connection between the two? What happens if it
He's a
reappears again?
journalist.
Make him stop, Marty, or I'm gonna twist his beak off.
Or some sort of
I get it.
tabloid
Yeah, my
writer.
beak is sealed, and I'm gonna keep it low.
Very good. You're not so stupid after all, Tim. You must have been just pretending.
That's a good one, Sonny.
Hold on. I have to confirm this. Where is he? Tim. Timothy Saltwater. Loud, annoying, and overly enthusiastic, and unfortunately he is the #1 fan of the chicken police. Scribbler Tim, real name Timothy Saltwater. He's a douchebag, a real nosy bastard, and an annoying little shit. But still, I have to admit he's the best investigative reporter in Clawville. Back in the day, he had a big part in the chicken police becoming what we were for a long time. Real star cops. Okay. I see. I understand.
I'd be grateful if you didn't follow us anymore, Tim. We know you're a veteran scribbler, but where we're going, I'm not sure you'd make it out alive.
Uh-oh. Well, that sounds rather irresistible, Sonny.
You couldn't have made it more tempting for him.
Oh, shut up, both of you.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's ask
What
more
a
about
night
Bubo.
we're having. We even ran into Bubo.
Whoa.
And you're still alive? Give praise to the great wild ones, lads.
We
like
do.
Mullen.
What's going on with the old owl? He didn't tell us much about himself.
I hear the old owl's doing quite all right, since more and more cops step outside the line and more gangsters shoot themselves in the foot.
Busy days, huh?
Something's coming, lads. It's in the air, and I can feel it in me beaver bones, too. Clawville's boiling.
Yeah, we feel it as well, Uncle Mullen.
Phil
We
Marlowe.
managed to run into Philmar, too.
Good old Phil, huh? I've heard he's not been doing so well of late.
He didn't look so good, that's for sure.
At the age of the private eye is over, lads. Now animals either sue each other or turn to the local crime lords. Only jealous or betrayed housewives remain for private detectives.
Thank you, Bono. Hope you're
Phil
doing
would
well.
never admit to
Thank you
that.
for the
He's too
work,
much of a romantic.
Are we still talking about Philmar?
Oh,
What the hell is Tim doing here?
oh.
You're still angry at him then? He's not really a bad fowler, and he simply idolizes you. Be gentle with him.
It's
We will
not
not.
adoration. It's an obsession. And I can't bear obsessive people.
Then how exactly can you bear Martin?
Hey, old man.
The exception that proves the rule, right?
If I'm obsessed, then what are you, Boss Bird?
No, that's different. I have no other choice but to be with myself.
The toughest prison on the planet, right?
Goodness gracious.
Get a room, you two.
Listen,
Zavos.
Hercule, what do you know about Madame Zavos?
Why do I have the feeling you're not interested in her girls?
Because you know us, Uncle.
I hope you didn't mess with her. The old Cayman has a rather bad reputation, to put it mildly.
Crocodile. But you're right. We shouldn't have messed with the old gal. She set fire to a ship with us in it.
Boys, I've heard she loves drama, but that is a whole other level.
Yeah, right.
We deserve
barely
the
got out
whole
alive.
production, I suppose.
What else should I tell you about her then? Maybe try not to anger her, if that's possible.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Good advice.
Oh.
I see everything's like it used to be.
Yeah, if only my back was the same.
You're telling me?
Alright. Thanks, buddy. I don't think there's anything else here, so then it's a matter of... I'll go to the Czar Club.
Well, looks like the party's over.
Yeah, it looks like it. And just when I was starting to get into the mood.
Damn it. I thought I was gonna see you shake a tail feather tonight, boss.
Yeah, let's not go that far.
Lewis. Hey,
I
Mort.
could already smell you boys.
Ah, hello, Morty. What's up? Are you lost?
Me?
Oh.
Lost? No way.
If I'm not mistaken, your rickety little shack isn't this way, Morty. It's miles away from here.
Don't you worry about me, you overgrown eggs. I know where the road's taking me.
Jeffy threw you out again, huh?
Don't you worry about that either, pal.
That little bastard. All right, listen, Mort. I'll talk to Lewis for you, okay? Luckily, he's right here.
Don't bother because of me, sonny boy. It's nothing. I can walk.
No worries. I just want your legend to live on, lizard wizard.
Mort. Lewis.
Hey, Lewis. Here again?
I just left something here, Sonny, but nothing important.
Are you sure everything's all right, Lewis? You seem, distracted.
Lewis is definitely involved in everything
fine,
bad.
Sonny. Don't you worry about me. What are you doing here anyway? You look quite battered.
Now we got both hot and cold tonight, literally and at the same time. But we're alive, and we're hoping maybe we can find Natasha here.
I'm sorry, Sonny. I haven't seen her since her performance.
Well, thanks. Keep your eyes open, all right?
And my ears.
Thanks, buddy.
Hello, late.
Not even what happened to us at the brothel and on the burning ship discouraged you, huh?
On the contrary, Sonny. I haven't felt this much alive in a long, long time.
All right. You have 5 minutes. Then we're leaving.
Thanks, Dad. But I'm not gonna talk to them. You know me. I only conquer from afar, and only in my mind, ever since Laura turned my head and my world upside down.
What a lucky woman,
okay.
eh?
Okay, Marty.
I'm the lucky one.
That's for sure.
Lewis, do you have anything else to say?
Listen, Lewis, I need some help. A favor.
Sonny, you know, for you, anything, my friend. 5 times a day, even.
Okay, I deserve that.
So, how can I assist you? Again.
You know old Morty, right?
Yes, I know him. Indeed.
I know he's not a saint, and he doesn't smell like flowers. His manners are disgraceful.
And he drinks a lot.
He's friends with weirdos.
And he's in and out of jail.
So we know he's not an easy character, but he has nowhere to go. And he is an old friend. Or something like that.
So, he needs a room, right?
You guessed it, pal.
Well, no problem, gentlemen. I can handle that.
Thanks, Lewis. Again. I don't know how many times. Much obliged.
Don't mention it. One day I'm gonna ask you for a favor in return.
Anything, long ears.
I am super concerned for when that day shows up.
You can bunk at the Atlas with Lewis for a while, Mort, but only on one condition.
Tell me, sonny boy, anything.
Leave that little chihuahua, or we'll have to pay him a visit and strangle the little rat. Oh, and finally, visit the hospice, okay? They're gonna help you there.
Okay. You convinced me, Birdie. I'll do it.
Both?
Both. Just leave me alone, okay?
Take care, lizard wizard.
Yes. You too.
I got the achievement Heart of Gold, in case you were wondering. Okay, so that's really like everything that we need to check out. Let's go to Hop Dog, but we're gonna call it here.
Damn, we're late.
Because it is... Okay.
I don't see him anywhere.
But that jerk's here.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
sorry. I turned like
The
directly
famous
into the
Scribbler
microphone
Tim
for that.
in the flesh. He must have seen something. And because he's here, he must have caught a whiff of a serious case. We should
But yeah,
interrogate
it's
him.
about time that we end.
let me be
but I
the
wanted
bad
to
cop,
like
boss
do
bird.
some of the small stuff before
Mission
we
granted.
finished.
Yes.
Okay. Tim, we told you to stop following. Exit to menu, please. Hold on, I do want to see. Cool, it does start us right here. Since it started us back before we were last time, I wanted to make sure that it was actually gonna like leave us off where we actually left off. But yeah, that's all we've got for stream today. We've got through a chapter, like a full chapter, and probably a little like a bit of this one. I don't want to say halfway because I have no idea how long any of these chapters are. And that's fine. Yeah, I like this game. This game is good. It's weird and wacky, and I love it. But that's what we've got for now. So shall we find someone to hang out with? Hold on, before we do that, let's do that. I've got a few people on that we can raid. Get the raid messages up first, though. The Hot Cross is doing some Dead by Daylight. Make this easier for me to see. Ams is doing some co-create stuff, which is always fun to hang out in. Inkry Barman's doing a Nuzlocke in Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green. Emageddon is doing some Spyro. Lubug is also doing a co-working stream. Primavera is doing some Witcher. And Ghost Panda is doing some Minecraft. Any of those sound good? Anyone in particular that we want to go hang out with? Or suggestions? I'm always willing to check out new folks. Well, thanks for being here, Dougie. Shall we... I don't know who to hang out with. Y'all want to go hang out with Ams? I've been enjoying, like, hanging out with Ams and Smiley as they do their co-working streams, personally. And it's a nice way to, like, decompress after my stream. We all cool with that? Want to go hang out with Ams? Not beyond. Alright, well, no one's saying anything. Okay, let's get this shit done. Let's go. Yeah, there are the raid messages again. Thank you, Travis, for pulling those up. First one is for everyone. It has global emotes on it. Otherwise, the second one has our channel emotes on it. So subs can use those. I will be back this evening at 6 p.m. Central, and we're going to be doing more Evil Within, which I'm extremely excited about. I have missed playing the Evil Within, so it's nice to be able to get back to it. But until then, take care of your dang selves. I love y'all. Have a good rest of your time zone, and we will see you next time. Bye!